Welcome back to another video. Yes, this is the same shirt. That's because I record all these videos on the same day and then I edit them throughout the week. I have a job and a life too, mostly just the job part. My life is editing these videos. Anyways, wanted to get into a topic about broke mindsets that I see out there, and there's plenty of these videos out there, but I kind of want to make my own based on what I'm seeing out there and what I've read in books. Love books. Definitely get out there and read. All the answers to your questions are already out there, even the questions that you don't know to ask yet. So make sure you get out there, whatever you're passionate about, make sure you get out there and read about it. These broke mindsets, they're not just about money. You can apply them to life in general and they will just help you succeed. So I don't even know if I want to call this a broke mindsets. Maybe I'll call this a lack mindsets. Yeah, we'll see. Whatever the title is, make sure you give it a thumbs up if you like these tips. And if you don't want to see the whole video, go down to the description and just give them a read and let me know what you think down below. Number 1, spend less than you make. And I know what you're thinking. This guy is a f***ing mathematical genius. Next thing you know, he's going to tell me that 1 minus 1 equals 0. And that's exactly what I'm going to tell you. Because if you spend every dollar that you make, you will be left with no dollar that you make. And the next thing I'm going to tell you is that 1 plus 1 equals 3. Huh? What do you mean by that? 2 minus 1 equals 2. When you do save the difference on your money, you should invest that money and make sure that it goes out there and gets you some more money so that you can continue to start building that snowball. Now, I've mentioned this other mathematical concept in other videos, but let's go through it again. And it's about what percentage of your money you're saving. So if you save 50% of your money, you will be able to retire in 5 years. Let's say that you make $50K a year and you put aside $25,000, and that gets about a 10% rate of return, which is about the average for the stock market. You can do better if you get out there and learn a little bit more about investing, but let's just say that you get a 10% return on your money. After 14 years, you will have replaced the other half with income from a safe withdrawal rate of 4%. If you bump that up to 60% of your income, you can retire in 11 years. If you bump that up to 70% of your income saved and invested, you can bump that down to 9 years. So in other words, if you started doing that at age 18, however you decided to do that, you'd be able to retire before 27 years old. Number 2, for success, wealth, health, success in anything. Accept adversity as a part of the process. So whether you're an athlete, whether you're trying to build wealth, it doesn't matter what you're trying to do. You need to accept that there's going to be some growing pains. You need to accept that that's just a part of your process. And when you're feeling that pain and when you're feeling that like you want to quit, you need to just understand that that's a part of your success. It's not going to come without those growing pains. You're going to be in your head. And just imagine me with you, sitting over there giving you a pat on the back and saying, I told you it was going to hurt. I told you it was going to get tough. No one said this was going to be easy, but keep on going. You got to keep on pushing through because you're going to make it. It doesn't matter whether we're talking about leadership. It doesn't matter whether we're talking about families. For example, some people can't say no to their kids. They can't just tell their kids no. They can't raise their kids properly. The kid ends up being a spoiled brat. Some people, they can't be leaders because they can't have that awkward conversation with somebody that they're leading. I've had to have awkward conversations with people that I'm leading all the time, and I don't feel like doing it. I just want to get paid and f***ing leave. I don't care at the time. I just want to get paid and leave. But you have to have that awkward conversation sometimes when somebody's messing up under your watch. You have to have that awkward conversation with your kid when they're messing up and you want to make them a better person, a better human being. Number 3, pay yourself first. So this one is taken straight from Robert Kiyosaki. If you haven't ever read the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad, that is a great place to start. Basically means before you pay your bills, before you pay all these other people, think about this. Who are you working for? So a lot of us out there, we have jobs and we're out there, we're working our butt off and we bring home this money. And then as soon as it gets home, it's just getting dished out to other people, right? Before we put it into our investment accounts, before we do anything, whatever percentage of your money that you're trying to save and invest, for me, that's 60%. I'm not there yet, but what needs to happen is take whatever percentage you can and just put it into your investment accounts. That's going to light a fire under your butt. For example, let's say that you have a bill coming up for $1,200 and you're trying to save and invest 50% of your income. Let's say that your check comes in as $1,800, so you put $900 in your brokerage account. Now, depending on your prior financial situation, you don't have enough money to pay this bill. So guess what's gonna happen? You gotta get out there and you gotta figure out how to get even more money, and that's just tacking onto your net worth every time. So just pay yourself first. Try that. Sometimes I just challenge myself. I will completely empty out my bank account knowing that my mortgage is coming up and I have to go out there, I have to Uber, I have to get out there, do some Airbnb, I have to do all kinds of stuff. I have to get out there, do some freelance photography. I'm scrambling so that I can make that bill because I paid myself first. Number 4, take ownership for every single problem in your life. Let's say that you had a group project and it just flopped. Take ownership for that. Could you have been a better leader? Could you have taken better control of the situation? There's obviously certain things in our lives that we cannot control, okay? So, somebody just walks up to you, cold clocks you in the head. Okay, maybe you could have positioned yourself better. Somebody assaults you. That's that stuff, people do terrible things, but other things like I can't make my bills. Well, could you have picked up another job? Yeah, that's hard. It is. It's not going to be easy. We already went through this. Could you have done it though? Probably. So just everything in your life, make sure that you're taking ownership and you say, how could I have done better? Because as soon as you say that, it's society's fault, or it's the billionaire's fault, or it's, somebody else, it's the tax code's fault, it's the welfare queen's fault, it's their fault. Now there's no onus on yourself. You're not going to improve yourself. You're not going to improve your life. So look inward. Ask yourself, how could I have made this better? Because the onus needs to be on you, no matter how easy it would be to blame someone else. Number 5, put yourself in a situation where you can create more economic value. So a lot of people are a lot poorer than they feel like they should be because what they do does not create a lot of economic value. So let me ask you guys a question. Why is it that you will never see LeBron James make $10 an hour? That is because he worked his butt off for years and years and years to develop a skill that generates economic value. He's able to put butts in those seats, and for that reason, there's a lot of people in the marketplace that will compete for him to put butts in their seats, right? He generates millions of dollars, billions of dollars in revenue, so that's what he's worth. Whereas someone working at, Joe's Crab Shack, somebody making sandwiches, yeah, you're doing a valuable service, and yes, you deserve basic rights, so don't say that, I'm bashing people that have entry-level jobs, but at the same time, you're replaceable and you need to make yourself more valuable. One thing that's kind of borderline for me is something like a teacher, or, they don't make as much money, but if you think about it, first of all, I do think that teachers should make more money, but secondly, they don't generate economic value directly for the school that they work for. They more so generate economic value and societal value, so that one's kind of a little bit different, but other things where you can just directly see that, well, this person does not actually create much economic value for anyone else. But there are countless other examples where this person doesn't really generate much economic value for anyone else, so why would I pay them as a business person to do something that is not very valuable? So just take the ownership and be honest with yourself, okay? Nobody cares about you. And that's really, it's not a depressing statement, it's freeing. You just need to be honest with yourself and just say, is what I'm doing valuable? Am I replaceable? Number 6, avoid consumer debt pretty much at all costs. So this is a little bit different than situations where you could call the debt good debt. There's some very rare situations where you could call consumer debt good debt. Let's say you have a company car, you're writing the interest off against the profits of your business, and you're just taking that money that you would have taken and plopped into the car and you're investing it somewhere else. For example, maybe you could call that good consumer debt, but for the most part, things like cars, things like, financing a TV, that stuff is just buying stuff that you do not need. If you're gonna buy those things, just first of all, identify them as dumb purchases, okay? And I don't mean to be offensive when I say that, but I love dumb purchases too, but you gotta identify. If it's something you're not buying to make you more money, it's a dumb purchase. So you need to be able to afford that with cash. Basically what I'm saying here with number 6 is don't buy things that you don't need to impress people that you don't like with money that you don't have. It's just a stupid endeavor. So for number 7, let's take an imaginary field trip to the past, to the invention of money. So basically, let's call it shells in the beginning of money. You've got a system of these little humans that run around and they need basically a way to keep score. So you've got people that are like, all right, well, I want this field plowed, but I don't necessarily want to do it. So I will give this person this many shells to just do the field, all right? So the person with the shells basically controls time. I mean, that's kind of like sci-fi-ish if you think about it like that, but the person who controls your money controls your time, right? So giving away your money is like giving away your time. Borrowing money is like promising someone your time. Once you can get it through your mind that your money is just a function of your time, it's even look at like your hourly rate. Like if I wanted a $100 thing and I make $20 an hour, well, this thing cost me 5 hours of my life. So if we assume you're gonna live for about 80 years, you've got about 700,800 years to live, right? You're gonna spend about 1/3 of those asleep. So let's do that. Let's divide it by 3/2. So divided by 3/2, that's gonna make it 2/3. You've got 467,200 hours left, right, of life that you're gonna spend conscious. The question is, how many of those hours do you want to spend working? So let's say you make $20 an hour. Do you want to spend 5 of those hours working so that you can have some little trinket? Or would you rather spend those 5 hours doing an experience that's going to be memorable and you're going to value in your life? I mean, personally to me, 5 hours, that sounds like a safari adventure. That sounds like a great experience that I'm taking away from my life for some $100 object that I'm just gonna end up throwing away anyways. And number 8 is unplug from consumer culture. So consumer culture is essentially made by advertisers and by just the culture that we have around us. A lot of what we think that we want, we never really wanted it. We were told that we want it, the advertisers told that we want it, and a lot of people, here's what I say. If someone tells you that you need a haircut, before you believe them, you should probably make sure that they're not a barber, okay? A barber might tell you, hey, you need a haircut, and they might be right. I mean, your shit might look like mine does, and you might look like a freaking wreck on camera, but you know, that's neither here nor there. But does this person have a financial incentive for you to go get that haircut, for you to go get that car, for you to go get that whatever it is? If the answer is yes, you might want to be wary of what they're telling you. Do you really need that thing? Do you really value it? And does that feeling really come from within you? Or are you just going along with kind of this culture of consumption that you don't really believe in and you'd rather have your time back and your life back? So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and if you do, make sure you give it a like and talk to me down in the comment section. Let me know what you guys value in life, and I'll see you guys in the next one.